So for this video, we're writing the formulas for binary ionic compounds. So the name of this compound is potassium oxide. And you might think at first, oh, well, that's just KO. But for ionic compounds, it's a little more complicated. For ionic compounds, you'll need to make sure you consider the charges of the ions that are sticking together and make them combine in a ratio that makes a neutral compound. That might sound a little complicated, but there's a pretty simple way to do this. So if you take your two elements, you take potassium and you take oxygen, you're going to figure out the charge on the ion for potassium and the charge on the ion for oxygen. So if you look on the periodic table, you'll see that K is plus, oxygen is 2 minus. So what you're going to do, you can think about this a couple ways. One way you can think about it is that you would need two of these positive guys to cancel out this 2 negative. But you can also do this. You can do something called swap, drop, ignore, where you can take this charge here, you can swap it to oxygen, drop it to the bottom, and then ignore the plus or minus. For oxygen, you can take the 2 negative, swap it to potassium, drop it to the bottom, ignore the plus or minus. That means that you're going to take the number of the charge from here, put it down there, number of the charge here, and put it down there. So that's going to make K2O. Notice there's no number up here with K. It's just plus. So there's no number down here on oxygen. There's just one atom. There's really like a little invisible 1 down here. For 2, that means we have 2 Ks. That minus we don't write. Okay, so K2O is the formula of potassium oxide. Side note, if you had something like this, Mg2 plus O2 minus, you wouldn't bring the 2's down to each element. That 2 plus and 2 minus cancels out, so that would just be Mg.